Seeing none, the board will convene to close session.
Adjust the resolutions and actions going forward after district, Thompson about the whole resolution. Did you guys approve it? And what this steps
Since it's a special meeting.
Yeah, sorry.
The board will now convene open session, report out from closed session. Due to the nature of the interview process and to keep the integrity of the interview intact, the district will not be live streaming these proceedings, but will instead be posting a recording of this meeting shortly upon the meeting's conclusion. There were no comments provided to the board for tonight's meeting via the public comment email address. I'd like to remind the public that the board will not be responding to questions posed by those making public comments. Relative to closed session item 3.1, the board took the following actions in closed session. To appoint Clinton Puckett to the position of Coordinator of Assessment and Evaluation, to appoint Nellie Marquez to the position of Interim Elementary Principal at Emmanuel Elementary School, and to appoint Jennifer Wu to the position of Interim Elementary Assistant Principal at Emmanuel Elementary School. This motion passed unanimously, 3-0. And now I will hand the meeting off to Vice President Kumar, who will preside over agenda item 5.
Thank you, President Nishihiro. Will the audience please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Buffet, Gonzalez. Here. Kumar,
Here.
Nishihiro.
Here.
May I have a motion and second to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Gonzalez. Here. Kumar.
Here. Aye.
I'm sorry, Nishihiro.
Aye. So to confirm, votes were aye,
Yes.
correct? Okay. Okay. Moving on to the land acknowledgement. Who would like to read the land acknowledgement? Trustee Gonzalez.
We want to open this meeting by acknowledging with respect and love that the land we are on today is the traditional ancestral homeland of the Ohlone Chochenyo First People. We recognize and thank the Ohlone people as original stewards of this land. Indigenous people must not be spoken about in the past context as if they left on their own accord, when the real causes were white supremacy, manifest destiny, and U.S. colonization. By recognizing we stand on the occupied indigenous territory of the Ohlone people, we recommit ourselves to listen to Native leadership and stand in solidarity with people struggling against systems of oppression throughout the world, past and present.
Thank you. Moving on to 6.1, public comment for hearings of visitors on topics on the agenda. How many speaking requests do we have?
We have 6.
6. Okay, and because we have applicants that will be arriving on a fixed schedule, the board will limit public comments to 30 minutes, 6 minutes. That will allow us to have a maximum of 3 minutes, 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers exceeding 3 minutes will be asked to conclude remarks. As a reminder, the board's role during this item is to listen and will not be interacting or commenting on topics raised here. Please call the first speaker.
All right, first speaker is Gavin Smith.
Stand where I am? Or go-
You can,
The microphone
Yeah.
is up there.
I think we're.
there is a microphone.
There's a
up there,
camera
so
too.
You can take a seat, just don't get too comfortable. You only have 3 minutes.
Yeah.
We're gonna get interviewed.
Yeah. All right, well, I'd just like to thank you guys again for everything you guys do. I'm coming here as both an employee for the district. I'm a teacher at Logan, but I'm also a parent living in area 2, and I don't really know the candidates, so I just want to encourage some criteria that I hope that you guys will be looking at. I believe that this board, along with Melissa Schoen-Malry, has done a great job with Dr. Thompson. There's been a lot of, I believe, working together. And I hope that the person that you guys choose will be someone that will work well with you, will work well with Dr. Thompson's administrative team, and will work well with parents, students, in students' interests, and in the interest of also teachers and other bargaining units. I do hope that the individual is, I think, someone that is new to our area or to leadership would be preferred, in the sense that I think that past experience might not be as well valued, I think, in the sense that we are moving forward. We've had a lot of past trauma in this district, and I think moving forward is really the direction that I hope this board will take us with your selection. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Next up, Lisa Rodriguez.
Getting tangled coming on in. Good evening, everybody. Okay. So I can actually read what I'm going to say. Good evening, board, committee members, staff, and the superintendent. Board, I stand before you. I see, well, I thought it was 4 trustees, but 3. And Trustee Nishihara, you are the senior of the trustees. But you had to deal with hiring a new superintendent, strike, pandemic, and unprecedented challenges with limited membership, to say the least, mentorship, to say the least. Now I realize 2 of you are in the first term, and Miss, I don't want to exclude Miss Trustee Rafe, because that within itself comes with challenges. Today, you have an important decision to make. Who will fill the seat in this area? While you evaluate and interview candidates, I ask that you think long and hard. And this appointment tonight will fill a seat that only has about a year left within the term. There's not a big time for learning curve. The person must be able to hit the ground running. Next election period will be 3 vacancies within this side of town. A lot of our Title I students. We need somebody with experience. The truth is the board would benefit from experience, mentorship, and someone who has served on the board before. Reviewed decisions regarding disciplines of students, has had gone through school closures because we are in declining enrollment. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Contract negotiations, transitionings of superintendents, and those that community and worked with all the students. All the candidates have impressive resumes, I'm sure, but I challenge you to silence the chatter and look closely to what is needed within our district. What's needed is experience and a seamless transition, and there's only one candidate that can do that, and I feel that that's Michelle. Thank you so much, Parnella.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Next up is Michael Gardner.
Board members and any candidates listening, my name is Michael Gardner. I'm a high school resource teacher, and after a decade have fallen in love with Union City, the community. I've served as NHTA's treasurer, secretary, and political activity chair. To anyone willing to serve, and as a school board trust, I want to offer my thanks for your service and also offer my condolences for a very hard job. You're being asked to be responsible for something like $100 million of the public's money and to shape the minds, skills, and character of the next generation. That is no small thing. My advice to candidates and to current school board members is to trust teachers about how to best help students. A truism in my little corner of special education is that with 1 year of special education experience, you know more about special education than everyone else in the school. And I'm sure that same principle applies to teaching 2nd grade, which I know I don't know, PE, which I know I don't know, or any other subject. I've been doing this job long enough to know what I don't know. I hope you'll go into this important work paying attention to what you know you don't know. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Melanie Freeberg.
Hello, board members, and Dr. Thompson. Thank you for your time. As you know, I was a candidate up until yesterday, and I have decided to recuse myself and throw my support behind Vanessa Gonzalez as a long-term 17-year resident of District 2 and the parent of 2 neurodivergent kids and 1 queer kid. I think that Vanessa has the experience and perspective that we really need, and I encourage the board to support and consider her candidacy. Thank you.
All right, next up, someone who we're very familiar with, Miss Schwinn, or Mel Schwinn Mallory.
I think I'll stand. I don't.
All right.
Okay. Hello, Board President Shahira and Vice President Kumar and Clerk Gonzalez and Dr. Thompson and staff. It's my honor to stand before you today. It's a bit different of a situation here, but I am here with high hopes that you will choose for my replacement someone who can carry on the legacy of work that we've begun together. And if I were to make a list of everything I would want in someone to take this spot and serve Area 2, Vanessa would check all of those boxes. Every single one and more, probably things I never even thought of. She is born and raised in Dakota. She went through New Haven Unified Schools, and her children are in New Haven Unified Schools. She still lives in the heart of Dakota, and she is passionate, she is educated, she's eloquent, she's in it for the right reasons. She's already been serving the schools, and she already has ideas about how to bring equity to our district, which is something that I've been very passionate about. I could say more and more and more. We met for a very long time, and I found that we just have a lot of the same values. We have a lot of the same values about equity, about the district, about what we want to see for students. I feel that she will be student-centered, and that she will be someone that will be very collaborative, that you can easily all work with and next to, and that she will bring even more of a fresh perspective to the school board and the school district. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Finally, President Ku Angeles.
Good evening, President Shiara, Vice President Kumar, Trustee Gonzalez, Dr. Thompson, district staff, teachers and staff in the gallery, members of the community, and parents. I just want to express, and I want to say thank you for some of the members, the trustees talked to me about the concerns in New Haven Teachers Association about the selection, because I think it really is a pivotal place where we are now in this whole serving the public, serving the community of New Haven. I think former trustee Schwinn Mallory set a great precedence in some of the conversations and challenges and awareness for students that are sometimes left off to the side. I think that conversation is the one we need at this point in time. There's no doubt the pandemic has shown students need to have that understanding. The great thing about it now, in your place under the sun here, the pivotal thing I talk about is the pivot can either go sideways or forward. It is hoped and wished that it goes forward. And the forwardness means we need to have that perspective that can adjust and understand what's needed now for today's student. Having folks with that kind of openness can really serve us well. There's no time to try to get back to another kind of awareness. And I think that's the reason why it's very much important to understand. The newness of a person, as some of you know, sometimes just takes that first step to take the leadership in this kind of capacity. But I'm confident the board has that nurturing and mentoring approach for a member who does not have the experience, but has a heart. And that's the biggest thing to hear. The heart is what's going to guide you. My North Star has guided me well in working with students, serving students, and helping parents to see their child's success. So I'm hoping that continues and the pivot does not change what we started with some of the things that former trustees from Mallory did. So again, I just want to reiterate to be open to that kind of change in leadership, in vision, and across progressive and being assertive with that new fresh voice that comes from folks who want to take the time in a place where that kind of action and insight is needed. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that concludes public comment. Let's see how we're doing on time here. First candidate starts at what,
Timeline, first candidate scheduled for 6:50.
6:50? Okay. All right. So just a review of the process. So the board had 6 eligible candidates to consider for trustee area 2, but one of those applicants has withdrawn. So we will be interviewing 5 candidates tonight. To fill the seat, the board will interview each of these candidates, deliberate on their qualifications and responses to the questions, and then take action to make a provisional appointment. Each interview will take approximately 20 minutes, during which time board members will each ask one question or a question at least. The same questions will be used for each candidate. The candidate appointed to the seat will formally be seated at the November 14th, 2023 meeting. The board meeting at that board meeting and will serve the seat until the term expires with the November 2024 election. Okay, moving on to 7.2. Are you going to, at this point, I'd ask that the superintendent circulates the final set of questions. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I do. So we have 5 copies of the same rubric. Please take a moment to read the questions. Okay, may I have a motion and a second to approve the slate of interview questions selected by the board?
To move.
Second.
Okay. Roll call. Oh, yeah.
Gonzalez. Yay. Kumar.
Aye.
Nishihiro.
Aye. Okay. All right, we are on to the candidate interview section. So at this point, we will take a brief recess.
Candidate's coming in. I think.
Was the candidate here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna ask question 1. You're doing question 2, right?
Michael's doing 3.
Michael's 3.
And I'm doing 4. And he's doing 5.
Give a second.
Good evening.
Welcome. All right. Thanks very much for taking the time to engage in the interview process. We appreciate your interest. Your interview is scheduled to last 20 minutes. For your convenience, you'll see a timer there. The board encourages you to manage your responses and pacing to the clock. We won't be pacing, or we won't be timing each question. So that's the amount of time you have for 5 questions. The board will take turns asking questions, and all candidates will be asked the same exact questions. Once your interview is complete, you're welcome to stay for the remaining interviews. Okay. With that, I will ask the first question. What qualifications, skills, or experiences, such as teaching, working in a school district, or having community endorsements, make you a strong candidate for this position? Please also include your response as to why you want to serve on the school board.
Well, good evening. My name is Chuck Kennedy. My roots run deep here in Union City. I moved to Union City in 1968 with my family. Went to 5th and 6th grade at Cyril School, 7th grade at Bernard, and 8th grade at Logan in the 1 year that it was double sessions. Went to high school at Moreau and attended college at Ohlone while I was still a junior and senior in high school. Went to Chabot College, Cal State Hayward, and Chico. Graduated with honors from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University as a flight instructor and advanced ground instructor. Had a long career in technology, followed by a short career in sales, and then sort of fell into teaching, in part for needing a job and because I felt I had skills as an educator through over 20 years of flight instructing. I teach computer essentials to high school freshmen at Mount Eden High School in Hayward. And I've been a volunteer all my life. Started by playing piano at Our Lady of the Rosary Church when I was 14, did that for over 10 years. I volunteered for about 35 years for Muscular Dystrophy Association and around 20 years for Leukemia Lymphoma Society. I'm a board member and an officer at League of Volunteers serving Fremont, Newark, and Union City. I'm a board member at Centro de Servicios in Union City. I'm a member of the Washington Hospital Healthcare Foundation and a longtime volunteer and board member and officer at New Haven Schools Foundation. I've done a lot of good things in my life, very few bad. The greatest thing in my life has been the time as an educator. I really feel that I'm making a difference teaching the high school kids to become really good, respected, and respectable members of society as they graduate, and helping many of them to move towards further education. I'd like to serve on the board. It is, I think, a natural progression for me to continue serving my community in that way.
Okay. Trustee, Vice President Kumar, question number 2.
New Haven Unified School District has students, teachers, and staff from diverse academic, socioeconomic, ethnic, neurodivergent, and LGBTQIA+ backgrounds. What experiences do you have that demonstrate sensitivity and an understanding of this diversity?
I think back to how things were when I was in high school. I think in the entire school, when I went to Moreau, there were a handful of Asian students and a smaller handful of Black students. And we didn't have a lot of exposure to people different from people who looked like me. I know that there were gay and lesbian students at the high school when I was going there. Nobody talked about it. Nobody felt comfortable being open about themselves. And one thing I know about that type of exclusion is that suicide is one of the biggest causes of death among young people. and particularly among lesbian and gay, bisexual, transgender people. And we really have a responsibility to be accepting of that. I know that about 60% fewer suicide attempts happen in families and social situations at schools where people feel that they're accepted. And with that in mind, I think that we've got not just a responsibility, but a moral imperative to be inclusive to people of all diverse, of all diversities.
Okay, thank you. Question number 3.
Question number 3. In what ways are you currently involved with the New Haven Unified School District?
I'm approved to be a substitute teacher with New Haven. Since I am about, I'm at 80% a full-time equivalent teaching at Mount Eden, and the rest of the time I substitute there. I haven't had much time to be teaching at a New Haven school. So the few times that I have, though, I've found it to be a positive experience. I pretty much limit myself to high school students and have taught at Logan maybe about 10 times.
Okay. All right, question number 4.
What is your vision for the future of our school district? And how do you plan to work collaboratively with the other board members to achieve this vision?
Oh, goodness. I really like the direction that the school district is going. I really like that the district now, with special ed, moderate to severe kids, how that they are completely within the same school. Well, I look back to when I was in 7th and 8th grade, and people who are developmentally disabled were, well, very few of them were at the same school as the rest of us. And we didn't really learn much about other people in who are out there in the world and what they're dealing with. And I remember a lot of bullying that went on with my heart still hurts when I think back to the way that a boy named Craig in my 8th grade class was treated, who was developmentally disabled, and I wonder what happened to him. So I appreciate and really like what New Haven does in keeping all students within the mainstream. May I hear the rest of your question?
Sure. I'll just read the whole thing for you again.
Sure, thanks.
What is your vision for the future of our school district? And how do you plan to work collaboratively with other board members to achieve this vision?
Sure. The school board has a responsibility to, well, there's a reason that you're not referred to as school board members as much as you are as trustees. You're entrusted with the trust of the public, the district staff, the faculty, and most of all, the trust of the students. If I'm joining the board, I'm not going to come into it thinking that I know everything there is to do, and I'm not going to presume to know anything better than any of you. And so I would look to your guidance as to how to proceed. I would assume that we're all looking to do the best that we can, and everything keeping it in mind of what's best for our students. Enjoying the public trust, though, however, I'm a property owner in Union City, and I want the school district to act responsibly. I want spending to be certainly what is necessary and not necessarily much more than what's necessary. So these are my visions for the school district, and I do hope that I get to work with you in the same way.
Okay, thank you. Final question, Trustee Gonzalez.
Final question. In your opinion, what are the most significant challenges facing our school district? And what strategies would you propose to address these challenges?
I can address a little bit with my view from the school where I teach, but also contrast it with what I see the times that I've been a substitute teacher at Logan. Where I teach, we've got a real problem with students staying in class, that they'll leave to take a bathroom break and never come back. Sometimes in the middle of a class period, you look out of the classroom and it kind of looks like an ant farm with all the movement that's happening. I don't see that when I cover a class at Logan. So Logan's doing something right. And I'd like to see some improvement in that way where I'm teaching. Other issues. I know that something that will be a bigger issue than it is now, it just naturally has to, is artificial intelligence and how students are going to be better at it than the teachers are, and they're going to be submitting work that really they are not doing. And it's a little different from plagiarism because it's not taking credit for another person's work, but still, student not actually doing all the work. And I think that a school district could look to ban it altogether, block those sites from access through the internet and the Wi-Fi. But I think that's short-sighted because students will be able to use other internet access to get to those services. And you're not going to be able to stop the use of the artificial intelligence tools. What you're going to have to do is find a way to work with it and use AI as a teaching method and test a student's actual knowledge when the writing that is turned in doesn't match the student's real abilities, when it could be, a well-written college paper that's turned in seventh grade. Clearly, it's not going to be the student's real work. But it's hard. You can't accuse someone of cheating without evidence, and so that there's going to have to be a lot more thought into what's in AI.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. That is all the questions that the board has prepared for you. Thanks very much for your time.
All right. Thank you very much. It's
Thank
my
you.
pleasure.
Okay. Is the next applicant ready? We're a little ahead of time. We're a little ahead of schedule. Okay.
10 minutes ahead of.
Are we supposed to pass? I thought we were supposed to pass these down.
Yes, please do. When you have that.
First round closed. I give.
Did I miss it? I didn't see it. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I think it's fine. It doesn't. You probably have to close this one, whatever, and change that. See what the can goes. I have one where there's just lipstick all over it.
Hello.
Good evening. All
Hello.
right, I need a booster.
All right, thanks very much for taking the time to engage in the interview process. Your interview is scheduled to last 20 minutes. For your convenience, you'll see a timer on the screen there. The board encourages you to manage your responses and your pacing to the clock. The board will take turns asking questions, and all candidates will be asked the same questions. Each board member will take turns asking, once your interview is complete, you are welcome to stay for the remaining interviews. Okay, with that, I will ask the first question, which is, what qualifications, skills, or experiences, such as teaching, working in a school district, or having community endorsements, make you a strong candidate for this position? Please include in your response why you want to serve on the school board.
So basically, qualifications, as many of you know, I served on school board for 2 terms, 2008 to 2016. Prior to that, I served in several capacities as school site council chair for Conley Carabello, Emmanuel, was a parent volunteer at the former Dakota Elementary School, and served as school site council chair for Bernard White Middle. In my capacity as a probation officer, I sat on the SAR review board for Hayward Unified School District for 2 years. And I'm sorry, can you?
Sure.
was a
What
long
qualifications, skills, or experiences, such as teaching, working in a school district, or having community endorsements, make you a strong candidate for this position? Please include in your response why you want to serve on the school board.
With regard to community endorsements, both times that I ran and successfully was voted in, was in an at-large position. And top voter from the community was done in the ballot box. I am apolitical. I really do not like the whole political climate and campaigning process. I live in Dakota. Now, I'm 5 generations deep in Dakota. My parents attended schools here. I attended schools here. My kids, and now my grandkids attend schools here. During No Child Left Behind, when students were given the option, families were given the option to go to a different school on the other side of town because we were all Title I, we were all in program improvement, I elected to keep my kids in our community schools. I would rather be part of a solution to address the needs of our Title I students. Here in New Haven, it's a special and unique environment. And all of our schools are great, but it takes community and parent involvement. And I have basically committed my life work to being a bridge builder. Now, I know there are some people who think that I'm a bridge burner, and that's fine. I speak my mind. I speak up for those that haven't always had a place at the table. And so, given all of that, I feel like I can hit the ground running. I've been in your seats. I've facilitated meetings. I've mastered governance and training completed. So the remaining term is 12 months. And so I feel like I can come in and be part of the team seamlessly and provide some leadership and some guidance and some mentorship.
Okay. Vice President Kumar.
New Haven Unified School District has students, teachers, and staff from diverse academic, socioeconomic, ethnic, neurodivergent, and LGBTQIA+ backgrounds. What experiences do you have that demonstrate sensitivity and an understanding of this diversity?
Well, I'm a Title I student. I have a son who identifies as bisexual. I have a niece who identifies as lesbian. My family, my community, my extended family, we are multi-ethnic, multicultural, multiracial. I live it. I serve in my career. I serve a very diverse population. I've been working with the general public since I graduated from high school. I deal with individuals who are justice involved. And I write sentencing reports for individuals who have been in and out of our penal system. But I approach my job by seeing the humanity in an individual and hoping that they can see that reflected back through me. I don't judge people based upon their behaviors and their outward appearances. I've been there. People judge me all the time. But the point is, you got to take the time to get to know me and know that I'm passionate about serving my community. I speak my truth. I stand on my word. And some people don't like my delivery sometimes, and that's okay. But I think it's important that we have those courageous conversations, and we need to be uncomfortable. That's where we grow, is in those uncomfortable conversations.
Okay. Question 3, Trustee Gonzalez.
In what ways are you currently involved with the New Haven Unified School District?
Oh, so I have not been hands-on involved as I have in the last few years. Part of it has been, work commitments, family commitments. I'm taking care of my aged parents, and I work long hours. So my ability to get involved. However, I do always support our sports and extracurricular, co-curricular groups. I just was recently at the Hall of Fame banquet. My granddaughter is a freshman at Logan, and so, love is an open wallet. When they need money, I just write a check and donate. I support our forensics program financially. I support many of our student groups financially, because that's where my capacity is right now.
Okay, great. Question 4.
What is your vision for the future of our school district, and how do you plan to work collaboratively with other board members to achieve this vision?
Great question. Right now we're in declining enrollment. We've been in declining enrollment, and that's not a New Haven issue. That's a statewide issue. We also have a teacher shortage. And while some may see that as a challenge and a negative, I see it as an opportunity, right? I think we're in a situation now where we can actually kind of, encourage and promote and support our teachers, especially our young up and coming teachers, and allow them just kind of be innovative, think outside the box. And as a board, we should develop policies that support that. We can't be focused on that ADA. I mean, it just is what it is. And, we we can sit here and try to find revenue streams. That's been an ongoing conversation of this board prior to even my sitting on the board. That's not the way the public education system is set up. We can't create revenue streams. This is not, we're not developing widgets, right? So I think that here in New Haven, we have the teachers, we have the classified staff, we have the leadership ability to be innovative and set the tone for other school districts. This is a very unique time, and I think we've got a lot of opportunity to do things differently here.
Okay. Great. Question 5.
Final question here. In your opinion, what are the most significant challenges facing our school district, and what strategies would you propose to address these challenges?
Well, you know, we've been talking about the achievement gap since 1972, 73, and it's about an access gap, right? It's about how do we bridge the gap between home and school. We put a lot of responsibility on schools to develop and support well-rounded citizens. I mean, that's the whole intention of public school systems. And so we've got to get better at that. We oftentimes in public service, we expect the services to be delivered at a central location. We've got to get better at communicating those services and delivering those services to the individuals and the families where they're needed at home, right? I just think like we need to just kind of let loose and be a little bit more creative about it. And I know growing up here and going to school here, I didn't have a lot of exposure to curriculum that reflected my cultural background, that reflected what I was experiencing out in my neighborhood and out in my community. But everything I learned in the streets of Dakota has prepared me for life out in the real world. You know, I served in the military after graduating out of high school, and I was stationed in the Deep South in the 80s. That was culture shock. I thought every community in America looked like Union City. Well, I learned really quickly, no, it didn't. And there are certain things that, you know, in history books I would learn about and would hope to see. And unfortunately, some of the things that I saw in the Deep South were not the things that I wanted to see. And the racism, Jim Crow, I mean, that all still exists. So I just think we have to get away from what is trendy in pop culture and, you know, and recognize that our kids are being raised. I'm a Gen Xer. so I didn't have social media growing up to the extent that kids do now. And so, you know, we experienced life by going out into the community, leaving the house. Our kids experience life at the click of a button, right? And so I just think that we have to somehow get back to the basics and shore up our families and, you know, just have those conversations. We just got to get better at it. You know, we do a lot of talking, but not a whole lot of walking.
Okay. That was our last question. Thank you very much for your time, and you're welcome to stick
Right.
stick around in the
Thank you,
audience.
guys.
Okay. Is our next participant here?
20 minutes ahead.
That's good.
So
If they're not here, are they not here?
they're not here, she's
Okay, if we're ahead, we can take a quick recess until
5-minute recess.
5-minute recess or whenever she gets here.
A quick question.
Yeah.
So we put just a number one on there.
And then yeah, each interview round you'll rank. Okay. Other than that, let's take a recess until our next participant here, because we're ahead of schedule.
We're using vacation. Yes, of course. I'm sorry. Because it's in between and then.
Yeah, just making sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then the total reflects that too.
Okay,
No, that would be tough.
Because she's a great actor. For 8 weeks.
what time is the next?
Can we say?
Oh, yeah. No, there's going to be a whole discussion. So.
Okay, thank you.
So you're flying out tomorrow? That's next week. That's right. We said 15 minutes, just now 15 minutes. So.
That's fine.
It's a nice one. Finish a little early rather than having everything run late. It's always the worst.
Is the next one scheduled at 7:30?
This next one is scheduled at 7:40.
40.
We gave 20 minutes plus a 5-minute passing period. Figuring it would take Yeah, I thought it was going to rain this weekend, but it looks like it's not going to now. Okay. It's supposed to be a big one.
Actually, it doesn't look like it's. Oh, yeah, it is Tuesday.
Well, it is mid-November now, so.
Well, if you're looking for consumers of said tomatoes, I know somebody who could use some tomatoes.
It's funny, my mother-in-law, she's still buy out every week.
Yeah.
Grab it and stuff. It was funny, she was out. One day I came home at lunch, Michael Ritchie, yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think they realized it was me.
Oh, really?
So I was like, I was gonna say, that's my help, she's my gardener, but then we had laughed, Michael and his wife asked me all kinds of questions, like, they said, we always have that sound.
Really? Oh my gosh. Well, I got a bunch of spare lumber. My sister-in-law was getting rid of it, and because she was moving, and she had some lumber that she was going to do some stuff with, and she didn't want to move it all the way to Roseville, so I inherited it, and so I've been making boxes, planter boxes. So
I saw what you did.
yeah, this is a standard. So that's good. 2x6. Yeah, so that's going to be standing about this. It's about that deep, standing.
You're gonna have to crawl up the pole.
Yeah, right.
Eat through some wood.
And I also did. I'm going to do a double stack strawberry, like a strawberry row, 12 inches, 2 rows on top of each other, like 12 feet. Yeah.
Yeah, I always get old pallets, because I'm a pallet breaker,
Mhm.
so I can just pop them off so easily.
Yeah.
I always use that wood because it's actually good wood.
Oh, is it really? I was. Is it pressure treated or heat treated?
It's usually, I mean, it depends, I think, because everyone's a little different.
Yeah.
The ones you tend to, I usually see they're actually okay wood.
Okay.
It's safe to put in a letterbox.
Okay, got it.
But wood actually is, I don't know if you've seen it, but pallet wood is actually not bad quality.
It's hardwood.
It's
Yeah.
hard,
Yeah.
right? I have one of those pallet breakers. Have you seen the pallet breakers?
No.
It pops them apart.
Oh, really?
You don't have to get it, like, you get a jack with a hand, a hand.
Oh, I had.
All you these things just pop them right off.
Okay.
It's kind of cool.
In my wildest dreams, I never thought that being ahead of schedule would have been a thing.
Yeah, I was worried about the reverse.
I was worried about the other thing.
Well, I mean, I don't know about you there, but usually, it's depending on the question. Some long questions can take 4 or 5 minutes, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, between 3 and 5 minutes per question.
I was crazy for.
That's great.
I said, well, bring it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is there anyone at 8 o'clock? Like, you go a little bit more than throws out.
Yeah, it'll be raining and it rained out.
Charles started off a little long. I was looking at the time going, all right, he was almost 5 minutes in the first freshman inning. I think having that clock.
Yeah, I think giving them the time budget to work within is better than the endorsement process. Endorsement processes that I've had in the past.
Is she here?
Oh, it has.
Yeah, I like that too. I like having the, because that's part of the thing is having the,
Well, it's because then you can actually determine how long you want to take. Like if you want 7 minutes on one question, 3 on the other.
yeah, no, 'cause we have a couple that are long.
Okay, we're gonna go right now.
I see.
Okay, we're gonna be reconvening. Our next candidate is here. Hello, welcome. All right, thanks very much for taking the time to engage in the interview process. Your interview is scheduled for 20 minutes, and for your convenience, you'll see a timer here. The board encourages you to manage your responses and pacing to that clock. The board will take turns asking questions, and all candidates will be asked the same questions. Once your interview is complete, you'll be welcome to remain in the gallery for the remainder of the time, if you like. Okay, with that, I will open the initial question, which is, what qualifications, skills, or experiences, such as teaching, working in the school district, or having community endorsements, make you a strong candidate for this position? Please include in your response why you want to serve on the school board.
Well, I think I would like to begin with why. New Haven is a very important place to me. Both of my sons were educated here, K through 12. I've worked here for 20 years. I've been a leader in our bargaining unit, CSEA here, elected to 3 terms as president. I believe in making a difference. And the only way you can make a difference is to get in a position of power. Make a difference to our students. Let's continue to see why we're all here, and that is to serve our students and our community, because education is what makes our community.
Okay. All right, Vice President Kumar.
New Haven Unified School District has students, teachers, and staff from diverse academic, socioeconomic, ethnic, neurodivergent, and LGBTQIA+ backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
What experiences do you have that demonstrate sensitivity and an understanding of this diversity?
Well, I think one of the main things that I have is the ability, as president of the union, we dealt with people of all backgrounds, all ethnicities. It varied. And having the ability to take people of such diversity and lead them in a positive way and garner respect of such a diverse group of people is what really makes us what we are today, what makes New Haven what it is today. We continue on daily. We work with our students daily. We're with our parents. We make them know that they're important here, that they mean something. It's not a thing of just the school board or the administrators. This is a united front here. It takes all of us to make this a positive place to learn.
Okay. All right, next question.
Question number 3. In what ways are you currently involved with the New Haven Unified School District?
Currently, I'm involved with New Haven in a way that's not upfront, but it's amazing how many calls I still get from classified employees asking questions. And, it's always it's always a thing for me to help as much as I can, but also redirect to appropriate parties. I know the leadership here is great, but that's probably the extent of my involvement at this time with New Haven.
Okay, great. Question 4.
What is your vision for the future of our school district, and how do you plan to work collaboratively with other board members to achieve this vision?
The school board is an important, very important piece of our New Haven family. What I plan to do is to bring my experience, my knowledge, and my commitment to this community, to the school board, to let my voice be heard, to give my opinion, but also to listen with integrity, to sit back and take in what others have to say, because I feel that's a huge part of leading. It's not about talking, it's about listening. And that's something I feel that I'm good at. I mean, to be a leader, to be a good, effective leader, you need to be a good listener. And with my experience working for New Haven, being a leader of a bargaining unit and living in this community for 30 years and seeing both of my sons through this district, I believe I come with the experience that's needed to continue a path of successful students in the 21st century education.
Okay.
Last question. In your opinion, what are the most significant challenges facing our school district, and what strategies would you propose to address these challenges?
I feel like some of the the biggest things that are faced with not only our school district, but school districts throughout California is funding. Funding is a huge part to public schools. We need money. We need our government to bring in more dollars to support our students and our staff. Our teachers should be paid, rightfully so, but so should classified. Anyone participating should be paid accordingly. We're a community of, like we said before, of diverse people. And to have diversity on our school board is always a plus. It's a plus to all of our students. And the second part of your question, I'm sorry.
So I'll just read the whole question. In your opinion, what are the most significant challenges facing our school district, and what strategies would you propose to address these challenges?
Well, I touched upon one, it's funding. I think one of the biggest ones that I noticed when I was here is expectation of all of our students to succeed. What I witnessed, that was not always the case for whatever reason. I think the strategy that we all could have collectively, what I would bring to the school board is the experience, number one, of working in the school district. And again, to listen, to listen to your community members, to listen to the administrators. We have to bring everyone together in order to continue to make New Haven a successful place for our students and our staff. So a strategy I think I will walk in with is, first of all, listen. Take the time to listen to the experienced people who are already sitting on a school board. Follow your lead, but also never be afraid to let my voice be heard and my opinion be heard.
Okay, great. That concludes the questions that we had for this, and thank you very much. You're welcome to hang back and watch the remaining interviews. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Thank you all.
Okay. Do we happen to know if our next applicant is?
Yeah, Derek's checking. Let's see.
I just texted.
Oh, okay. She's due to arrive in a few minutes.
She's not here yet.
That's fine. We can take a rest or another recess. Okay, we'll stand at recess until our next applicant is here.
Thank you.
I hope I can read my writing next time. It's terrible. Shoot, there's the last page.
What day? I used to, that's right. Oh, next one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Vanessa Hernandez. Yeah, and then Christopher Bowe. So now I wonder if we can get a hold of. Yeah, he's got the number. I wonder if we have Christopher's number, we can call him and let him know we're running and see if he has stuff. We're running about 20 minutes ahead of time. So he's scheduled to come in. He was scheduled to interview at 8:30. If he could be here by like 8:10.
I suppose it's a good problem.
Of course. Better than the
Yeah.
Better
opposite.
than Russian, than having Russian.
Yeah. The one question is pretty one-dimensional, which is what's your involvement in schools now? So that one doesn't really take, but the other ones, there's a ones that could take quite a while.
Yeah.
We're getting.
Well, someone who was very involved, I could speak with them.
Yeah, you could speak for an hour or two. So you're right. You could speak for a long time. But some of the other questions have multiple dimensions to them in the best in that one.
I think we got a good set of questions.
Yeah, if we can get Christopher show up a little early, we'll.
Yeah, nice.
Well, I think Vanessa's probably, I mean, she's due to arrive here in just a few minutes. Because we asked people to come 15 minutes ahead of time. So if we can get Christopher to show up, just move him up by 15, 20 minutes. It should be good. Let me show.
It doesn't matter. It feels awkward. It's just.
Not at all. The only thing I just think I still remember when I was a kid. So, yeah, I was. Oh yeah, whatever. No, the only thing that's present with that word is that I was his teacher, a science teacher, way back in the day. But anyway, I was very, I recognized that back in the university. The rhetoric, And that was all pre.
Well, they're- I mean, well, I do the same lesson plans that other teachers. So they do that.
Yeah.
And they don't like stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They
Well,
don't
that's
like
good.
stuff.
So you're sharing.
Yeah, we're all doing like the same lessons and stuff in the system. Oh, we're doing one lesson. Oh, we're gonna do. You know, this is their homework. I can show you where they
His, one of his former teachers was also
Right. Because I told her I didn't want
the
to.
principal of San Diego High School.
I used to do, I read.
Just like, you see what you see is what you get.
And
And I was
they
cracking up.
just,
It was like,
no.
I got called into a lot. I read the email. It wasn't what he said. It made it sound like it was so simple.
Finished the quiz, I worked in the PJs or whatever. And then they were trying to.
Oh, I'm looking at it. Post.
Are the yeah. Okay. So, but then they're like, oh.
So I mean, they don't understand what policy says, or they're just choosing to go beyond what the policy does. And I know that's part of it, but I think it's like.
Okay. Yeah, if we use.
Well, they have to be consistent across their subjects, and that's the only way. And that's fine. That makes sense.
It's really miracle.
Yeah.
So, what there's different programs, but everybody's.
Share. Okay. Okay, we will continue with the interviews with our next candidate, Nessa Hernandez. Hello. All right.
I don't know why I'm whispering, I'm sorry. It's very quiet. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much for taking the time to engage in the the interview process. Your interview is scheduled to last 20 minutes. For your convenience, you'll see a timer right there, which will begin when you're asked your first question. The board encourages you to manage your responses and your pacing to the clock. You'll have 5 questions. The board will take turns asking them, and all candidates will be asked the same questions. Once your interview is complete, you'll be excused and you'll be welcome to stay and observe the remaining interviews. Okay, with that, I will ask the first question. What qualifications, skills, or experiences, such as teaching, working in a school district, or having community endorsements, make you a strong candidate for this position? Please include in your response why you want to serve on the school board.
First and foremost, thank you so much for having me here today. I appreciate this opportunity. I'm excited to speak with you guys. So I think the foundation of my experience originates from being a New Haven student from day one on to graduation. Specifically having my residence in Area 2 my whole life as well. My majority of my family as well, living in Area 2, attending New Haven schools as well.
And that goes back for at least I will be on my paternal side, 3rd generation New Haven. So I'm really proud to be a part of this legacy. And having that experience and that opportunity to go back to, it's my grandmother that had graduated, to go back and ask her, what was your experience like? How much has it changed, being that she also raised my father in the same district? It's something that not a lot of people can do. Many people can, but not too many. It's not too far, few in between. I have a very humble education in early childhood development, humanities, and social science. I have also been a teacher for a TK classroom for about 3 years. I have my daughter also that is currently in school, so I have that experience of being a parent on the parent side. I like to think of it as a well-rounded experience. I'm now on my 3rd year volunteering for our PTC board, as well as currently holding a position on the school site council for our school. That's been quite an experience as well, a great opportunity. So I'm pretty involved. I think I have a pretty good experience, well-rounded viewpoint from multiple angles. Oh, and the last question, why do I want to serve? Is that right?
Mhm.
I think that having the experience that I have had and the community that I have serves as a really good insight for the board, specifically for Area 2. I want to be able to be the voice and serve the area for what they want, for what is needed to improve, to continue the progress, to see it shine as bright as it can.
Okay. All right.
New Haven Unified School District has students, teachers, and staff from diverse academic, socioeconomic, ethnic, neurodivergent, and LGBTQIA+ backgrounds. What experiences do you have that demonstrate sensitivity and an understanding of this diversity?
Maybe an obvious answer, being here. Right off the bat, I'm fully aware, familiar, comfortable, very confident in the area. I mean, I've been in, obviously, the area for my whole life. Having the relationships that I have in our melting pot of Union City I understand it is a bubble within our nation. The Bay Area in and of itself is somewhat of a cultural melting pot bubble. You don't get this too often. If you wouldn't mind, would you repeat the question?
Sure.
Thank you.
New Haven Unified School District has students, teachers, and staff from diverse academic, socioeconomic, ethnic, neurodivergent, and LGBTQIA+ backgrounds. What experiences do you have that demonstrate sensitivity and an understanding of this diversity?
Okay. It's kind of like describing what water tastes like. This is my natural. This is what I know. So it's really hard to pinpoint humanitarian when that is your second nature, or first. That is my nature. Respect, having the utmost respect for people, regardless of their background, regardless of their socioeconomic situation, neuro situation, or any of that. My experience thus far, I believe, has been very well-rounded as well. Also, with my education in early childhood development, it does cover a vast ground of this list that you mentioned. Also, with my teaching experience, that put me at the forefront of getting to know people of different backgrounds as well, and getting to know them personally, the parents, the families, the students, understanding that, of course, not all students are the same. I'm not going to be able to teach each single student the same. Having to learn to mold and arrange myself in order to fit them best, each student. That has also been a very great experience of adapting to others different than myself.
Okay. Next question, question 3.
Question number 3. In what ways are you currently involved with the New Haven Unified School District?
Currently, as I mentioned before, currently president PTC of Easton Elementary, also school site council member, active parent, very active parent, and also having multiple family members currently in the school, in the district, middle school and elementary. Those are my relationships.
Okay. All right, question 4.
What is your vision for the future of our school district? And how do you plan to work collaboratively with other board members to achieve this vision?
My vision for the district as a whole?
Yes.
Okay. I would really love to see equality through equity. That's could be considered a general idea, but that's what I would really like to see across the board. I feel as if we could definitely, and I do know and I understand that the district is working really hard. I was able to attend the town meeting, and I would love to see more of that. Love to see more of that. My plan, was the question my plans on working collaboratively?
Would you like me to read it again?
Oh, yeah.
What is your vision for the future of our school district, and how do you plan to work collaboratively with other board members to achieve this vision?
Collaborating to me is listening and hearing respectfully, understanding progression, and follow through with each respective vision from each respective board member. I'd really like to see the district thriving and following through with those, with promises and with improvements that are already planned and continuing to grow on those.
Okay. Question 5.
Okay, last question. In your opinion, What are the most significant challenges facing our school district? And what strategies would you propose to address these challenges?
One I do know of is enrollment retention. I do understand that a lot of families are really looking for programs, extracurricular programs, along with programs that the school offer just, after school and during. And I believe that a lot of what is happening already at Easton is can really improve and help throughout the district as a whole. I would really like to see an equitable vision of programs throughout. I think that would be really helpful.
Okay. Thank you. That's our last question. Thank you so much. And you're welcome to hang back while the rest of the interviews are here. Thanks very much. Not here yet. Okay. So we'll take one last recess before our next applicant arrives.
Okay.
8:40.
I'm sorry. No, 8:15. Yeah. No, 8:15.
8:15. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the car. Oh, that's funny. Camille's got a range of kids, boy. Must be a strange starting out. But he would get that, yeah, that was max. 2 kids that are in there, just turned 30, 20. And he has one that's just under middle school. Tail and Charlie there.
I need to. Yeah.
You said from a different marriage? Or? Oh, okay. That's it's small.
Oh, you're not glasses.
Yes, did you have your
Oh, sorry. Make sure I have all the scores.
Sir.
He's here. He just walked in.
So we'll go now?
Sure.
All right.
Let's wait for Gene.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get Gene back.
She's right there. Right. Gina's right there.
Anybody know where Gene is?
The white coat.
She is.
What do you want the white coat?
You got the white shirt.
Oh,
You guys are kind of matching.
well, we match usually.
Okay, we will continue with the interviews. Our next applicant. Hello.
How are you guys tonight?
Great.
Late night for you.
All right, thanks very much for taking the time to engage in the interview process. Your interview is scheduled to last 20 minutes. And for your convenience, you'll see a timer here that will start after the first question is asked. The board encourages you to manage your responses and pacing to the clock. The board will take turns asking 5 questions, and all candidates will be asked the same 5 questions. Once your interview is complete, you're welcome to stay for the remaining of the meeting. Okay, with that, I will ask the first question. What qualifications, skills, or experiences, such as teaching, working in a school district, or having community endorsements make you a strong candidate for this position? Please include in your response why you want to serve on the school board.
Sure. I have absolutely no qualifications in education. My wife's a teacher. She's the smart one. For me, I've been on a board of directors for an HOA. I've managed, Dave & Buster's, FedEx. I'm a collaborator. As far as, why I want to be on the board, it's really personal for me. It's really goes back to my son, who goes to Hillview Crest, has special needs, had para support, got a lot of support from his teacher, Miss Lim, and Miss Castillo there. And when I listen to the board meetings, there's a lot there that resonates when we talk about, staffing levels and making efforts not to suspend or expel people. And my son was certainly in that category. And I could see where those efforts went to. And I could really just felt like when I watch you guys work, it's the kind of thing that makes a difference. And I only like to do things that would have an impact, would make a difference. So when an opportunity like that comes up, I'm like, hey, I'll throw my name into that hat. I'm just a practical person. I'm a person that is very much tries to work together. And the former member was someone I supported, put yard signs up for. So I just felt like I'm just an average guy that would just love to contribute. So here I am.
Okay, great. Thank you. Question number 2.
New Haven Unified School District has students, teachers, and staff from diverse academic, socioeconomic, ethnic, neurodivergent, and LGBTQIA+ backgrounds. What experiences do you have that demonstrate sensitivity and an understanding of this diversity?
Yeah, so with FedEx, I am the head of our DEI program for Northern California. So we do all of our DEI initiatives. I'm on the panel for that. Just, some quick examples are with the Filipino American History Month, we brought in people to talk about the history from our teams that share their background. We brought in Filipino food and shared that. We have Diwali coming up that we're doing here at the end of this week with our folks. We always speak from personal experience. We have the folks whose background is there to share their story, their families, and their food, their culture, and their traditions. And so we do that throughout the year. For Black History Month, for example, each shift will go and pick someone to highlight that is a non-traditional person. So for example, I did the gentleman that invented the super soaker. You've got the traditional ones that everybody knows about, Rosa Parks, MLK, but I really wanted to get deeper with somebody that resonated for their upbringing. And so those are the types of things we focus on. We have a map when you come into our warehouse of the entire world. And whenever somebody's hired or whenever somebody is part of the team that's there, they have a little FedEx logo that they fill out their name and they put where on the map they're from. So things like that are like the type of initiatives that we've done.
Okay, great. Question 3.
In what ways are you currently involved with the New Haven Unified School District?
I just have 2 children with the district. My wife's a teacher in Fremont, so all of my real knowledge about the educational process is through my wife and through my interactions with my kids and the things that especially my son has done. We had an IDP for him, and the whole process, the district was incredibly supportful, helpful, supportive. So all my knowledge is really around that. Part of my work with FedEx is in our FedEx Cares initiative. So I work closely with schools in that regard. Just today, I was in Sacramento where we did a donation of 400 coats to an elementary school up there. It's called Operation Warm, and we do that in the winter. And then every summer we do Operation Shoes, where we pick another underprivileged school and we donate school socks and shoes to all the kids before summer. So everything I have is kind of educational adjacent, right? Not directly involved in any way.
Okay, question 4.
What is your vision for the future of our school district? And how do you plan to work collaboratively with other board members to achieve this vision?
Yeah, I think my vision really was a lot of what I've heard you guys talk about. When you talk about, I love that we don't have a lot of teacher vacancies. The para support thing really resonated, obviously, with my child's background in that. I think knowing that we have union negotiations coming up, and I know the history there and met with Joe, and I know how far this board has taken that relationship. And again, someone that's very much a collaborative person and with a wife that's in education. Those are all the types of things that to me are my priorities to continue the progress that this board has made, to continue to look to find ways to grow the roles of the students. I know that's important. And so those, again, when I just listen to it, it all resonates for me. And now, as far as how do I do that, honestly, I'd have to learn from the board. I'd have to learn from the people that are in the schools that are in my area and listen to them and what's important to them and just bring that to the conversation. That's a big, just part of how I operate as a leader in the workplaces that I've been in, is I always look to do for others before I ask for anybody to do for me. I'm definitely a listener. I'm definitely a collaborator. I'm a pragmatist. And so these are all just attributes that I bring, although I don't bring the experience, I bring the mindset and the passion and desire.
Okay, question
Okay, last question. In your opinion, what are the most significant challenges facing our school district, and what strategies would you propose to address these challenges?
Yeah, I think, the big ones are going to be the coming out of COVID. And again, I experienced this myself, that people trying to catch up to where they need to be. And it's not just the standardized tests, but it's the other parts of just our community. And, I know recently we had a discussion, the board, with just in the area of like alcohol use and mentorship, and the family dynamic is so important. And the more that you can make people feel a part of a community, the less they're going to look for other people to make them feel part of their community when they're not having the best interest of that child in mind. And so to me, that's the hardest thing. Everything else, the teaching part, we figured out. You guys know how to teach. How do you get them to attend? How do you get them to be in this district? How do you get them to feel connected to something that doesn't make them want to feel connected to something external from the family, from the community? And I think those are the challenges. And again, for me, it's very much listening to the people, learning from you guys, and just being in alignment, going together. And I appreciated that very much when I read the document that was sent. It talks about that you go into it aligned and you have respect for each other. And I think in that way, I wouldn't presume to have answers, but I would certainly like to collaborate to find them and to work together towards whatever it is that collaboratively the experts and staff and your guys' experience tell us is the right way, and then listening to the parents and folks that are out there living it every day.
Okay. That was all the questions that this team had for you. Thank you very much for your time. We're actually going to take a quick recess, and then we'll get calibrated, and we'll get back on schedule in just a bit.
Appreciate you guys having me.
What's that?
Nothing. Yeah.
Christopher Bell. EOW.
So you guys were up on
Yeah, I can pass this over.
Yeah.
We're done. Are we share this?
You don't have to share if you don't want to. If you want to keep it, it's fine. It's really, again, for your, it's really up to you. If you'd rather keep it to yourself, we can tabulate them too.
It was great. It was great.
So are we going to be getting our documents back?
Yeah, you will.
During deliberation?
She's tabulating the chip print, and then you'll get your scoring sheets back.
Yeah.
You have it. You're done with the,
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing it by person? Oh, perfect, okay. Got it, yeah, that makes, can I get a nice little packet of all your stuff? Deliberating on the in front of the actual.
Oh, that's very different.
Yeah. Different than a normal hiring process.
He's not names. But occasionally to
I think it's interesting. Because I was a teacher. Yeah, that makes sense. That's why. She was talking about teachers and the principals. I mean, there is it's not just the superintendent, it's not just.
We are not, it got harder and harder to foster as the kids got older.
Yeah, and that's okay, that's personal too.
I have 2 younger dogs.
So there's something not to be a visiting high school.
Started out fostering him.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah. Thank you. Thanks for that. Yeah, so I was going. Thank you for that.
But just he was always. He tried fostering, I was 5 years ago, and it was hard because the kids got attached. And we became a doctor, and so we said no more places. It was just a couple of years ago. After the first dog, Harmon and I
Did you say that?
and then adopted. Yeah. So when she passed away.
All mine out. There were, but some had, I had one where they never actually fully ripened. So interesting.
And there were cherries.
No, they weren't the typical cherry. They were the big ones. Yeah. I think I'm seeing the yellow ones, the yellow
I got
kind
it.
of like pears.
But
Just like the yellow ones, and then just I'll go 2 of each. Yeah. Oh yeah, orange, red, and yellow.
Really.
I use it for yellow and orange. And else, yeah.
What I'd like to do probably is take turns and talk
Now
about
I can't see him so well anymore.
how you'll be making the decision, what your considerations and criteria will be, and also what your general impressions are of the candidates. And then after you do that, maybe we'll go around and ask to see if there's any candidates based on the individual's criteria or how they want to be treated. Yeah. Okay, you guys want to go?
Can I get 5?
Sure, yeah.
I think we're gonna go around sharing house on each.
Probably not on each end. No, what I meant was, that would take a long time. So, probably criteria and, maybe talk about who your top 2 candidates. Because then that way it kind of narrows it down to a smaller conversation.
You need any help with any of that?
No. What I plan on doing is in this deliberation set, I'm going to ask each of the board members to talk about how they're going to be approaching the decision. Right? And then see if they have any ideas in terms of who they'd like to put
Yeah.
forward.
We can have a discussion. It really can go however you like it to go. Things were way ahead of schedule.
Mhm.
It's up to you whenever you want to start.
Yeah, I think Shruti wants a few minutes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll continue on with the agenda right now on 9.1. What we'll be doing is each trustee will talk a little bit about the criteria for how they're making the decision, and also identifying who their top one or two candidates be. So who would like to start? Okay.
All right. First off, I'd like to thank all the candidates for taking the time and stepping up to serve. We miss Trustee Mallory, but we're hoping to have someone who aligns with Trustee Mallory's. I'm hoping to have someone who aligns with Trustee Mallory's values. So I have 4 criteria that I am using when I'm thinking of who would make a good trustee for Area 2. One is the community elected trustee, Mallory, and that's the kind of trustee that the community desires to have. So I definitely would like to have someone who shares the same values. Trustee Mallory has done some excellent work in Area 2 and was focused on equity and had good relationships with our labor unions, our labor partners. So I would like to see someone in that same light, and someone who's strong and an independent thinker, not afraid to ask questions. That was my first criteria. My second criteria was I would want someone who appears to be collaborative, because that's really important. Someone who can work with the board, and someone who's approachable so the community can approach them and talk to them about any concerns that they may have. My third criterion was someone who's equity focused. Our district has made great progress over the last year in the DEI area, but we have a long way to go. And that's why it's really important to me that this new trustee leads with the equity lens. That's really important. So understanding what equity is in New Haven was one of the important things for me. And my last criteria was I was looking for someone who aligns with our core values as a district and where we're going with our strategic plan. So those were the 4 things I was looking for. And I think I have a couple of candidates who I think check all those boxes. Again, all the candidates are pretty amazing. Everyone brings in so much wealth of experience, newness, passion. So it was really hard. But my top 2 would be Vanessa Hernandez and Christopher Bowie.
Okay. All right. Trustee Gonzalez.
Yeah, first of all, I appreciate all the candidates who applied and made the effort and have gone through the whole process. It wasn't easy. I really would have liked to have heard from tonight. I thought all the candidates could step up here and fill the job. They all. I thought we'd have some candidates that had no business being up here, but all of the candidates I felt were very qualified. But I really would have liked to have heard from Melanie up here. But I thought that was, I commend you for coming here and endorsing someone. That's very honorable of you, and so I appreciate it. I could say this with all, I really don't have I came here with an unbiased, I mean, I was very open-minded to hearing the candidates, hearing them out. I only know of one candidate, and so anyways, this appointment is not really an elected by the people of your area. It's you got lucky and avoided the whole campaign process. And it's temporary, okay? But you do have an advantage come November. And of course, I wish I would have got appointed. It just makes it a lot easier to get in there. But for those of you who didn't get appointed tonight, do not feel discouraged. That upset or anger you're feeling, let that fuel you come November and run again and say to yourself, you board members were wrong. I'm the better candidate. I should be up here and prove us wrong, when you run your campaign, if that's how you feel. I don't know. So yeah, let me just go through the candidates here. We bring biases here. Some of us already had in mind. I know who I'm picking. I don't care what the scores say or anything like that. I know who I'm picking up coming up here. With that said, for myself, educator, that is being a teacher is everything to me. Got me through traveling, got me traveling places, got to meet some people, got me elected. I put teacher and community. I'm from the community and I'm a teacher. That's what got me elected. So I really had high hopes for Chuck. I wanted you to shine. I was super excited. But when it came to the scoring, I didn't hear the things I wanted to hear. I didn't that you went to Moreau. That kind of hurt you on one of the questions, but I couldn't see it in the questions being up here or on a piece of paper. And of course, very subjective. You can come up. I had a colleague try to get appointed to the Newark and use the AI to try to finesse her answers to come up with the best answers on there, and she did really well. But that's not really. She didn't have the experience to go along with that. All right, so I'm just going to go through the candidates there. Michelle, I would have liked to have heard your past experience, what you have done on the board. I know you did some great things on the board, but I didn't hear that in the questions there. So I would have liked to have heard that in there. Tanya, I don't know if she's still here or not. Yeah. No, but being a past president, I'm a union guy, so that would be an asset to have on the board. But unfortunately, she did not do good on the questions. Vanessa and Michelle did the best on the questions. They did really, really well on the questions. That's very impressive to have former trustee Schwinn Mallory to be endorsed and to have someone else, a candidate, drop out for you. That's impressive to have that, and to have someone else from the community speak up for you. So that is impressive. Christopher, you did good. I can hear your heart. I can hear all that. I didn't.
I'm just happy to be here. I just want 40 questions from
I like your one question when you said teachers got it right. They know how to teach. It's the other stuff. So that hit my heart. That's what it's about.
I live with one. So.
Yes. And so, if they come to school hungry or they got some other domestic violence going on at home, that affects them coming into class. So I appreciate that. I thought you did really well also. So anyways, that is laid out. That was my thinking. I'll go ahead and turn it over to our president here.
So approaching this, I really wanted to think about this holistically. So I started off with the CSBA roles. The role that that the school boards play and the members play on the school board are to set direction for the schools, establish effective and efficient structures for the schools, create supportive environments, and ensuring accountability to the public, and demonstrating community leadership. That basically frames what I'm looking at. As far as the specific things that I was looking for in the candidates, I was looking for, is the applicant qualified? Do they understand what the role is? Whenever I talk to a new school board member, regardless of where they are, even if it's outside the district, I talk about that maybe 80% of the role is actually knowing what the role is. I also looked at how well they actually answered the question. A lot of folks that were interviewing tonight, I was struggling to hear the actual answer to the question. So how they actually answered the question or not, and how concise they were, was another thing. A big consideration here that I think shouldn't be understated is because any school board member knows that it takes a while to hit the ground running and understand and become effective. In talking with other school board members who recently made an appointment, I asked about some of their criteria, and one of it was, no learning curve, and to be able to get productive very, very quickly. That was something that I was really keying in on. The other big part of it was around Area 2 representation. Do they connect with the community? Do they understand the people who live there? Understanding shared and lived experiences. That's something that can't be taught. That's something that I believe is it's intrinsic to who people are. With that in mind, I had my top pick at this point is Ms. Parnala. And I struggled on my number 2 pick because I was actually surprised with Christopher Bowe. I felt that his answers were authentic and came from a place of lived experiences, and I think that's actually pretty important. So that's who I'm looking at right now, going into this next round of the conversation. So, how do folks feel about the conversation?
So I'd like to hear Trustee Gonzalez's top 2, since we seem to have shared ours.
Vanessa and Michelle.
Okay. All right. Vanessa and Michelle. And how do we feel about a vote right now with appointing Michelle Parnala as the provisional trustee? What are some thoughts on that?
Are you making a motion?
No,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, the motion will be in the next action item. I want to get alignment and agreement across the board before we move into the motion. Unless the board feels it knows enough that it can vote right now, and we can move directly onto the vote. Thoughts? You want to just move on to the motion?
Yeah.
All right. All right. With that, may I have a motion and a second to appoint Michelle Parnala to serve as the provisional trustee of New Haven Unified School District, representing trustee area 2 until the election in November of 2024. Okay, seeing no second, is there a substitute motion?
Yes.
Okay.
I move that we appoint Vanessa Hernandez for the role of New Haven Unified School Board Trustee Area 2 until November 2024.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Well, I feel right now the one thing that I am looking for is much more experience. And I feel that Ms. Hernandez, while she has the right heart for sure, I think for a 12-month appointment, the learning curve is actually going to be very, very short. So I wouldn't be supporting this motion. Any further discussion?
We can put it to vote now.
Okay. Roll call?
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Kumar.
Aye.
Ishihara.
No. All right, so the motion passes. That is all the business that we have for tonight. Seeing no further business, we are adjourned.
Night, everybody.
Night, Lisa.
Sorry about that.
Picking up everything before I get there. I gotta clean that right. I waited just long enough for to come in there and clean up.
You slow played it up.
The name of the band.
This is really that, on my paper.